That's the city of Firaz. Firaz was the border between the Roman Empire and the Persian Empire. The Persians and the Romans hated each other's guts. They had been fighting each other 628 plus 52, right? It was 53 BC, the Battle of Karhae, but there's no year zero, so you have to subtract one. That's why I'm doing 52. So what is 28 plus 52? 80. For 680 years, the Romans and the Persians had been fighting each other. Can you comprehend 680 years of war? Like, I don't even know what that means. What does that even mean? By the time Khalid ibn Walid gets to Firaz, the Persians and the Romans looked at each other and went, you are no longer the enemy. We have a new enemy. I don't know where these guys even came from. Because you have to remember, at this point in time, the Persians had been an empire for 1,200 years. And the Romans had officially been an empire, calling themselves an empire, for 600 years, but they had been imperial for the 300 before that. Because even before Rome was an empire, it owned Spain, it owned North Africa, it owned Syria, it owned Turkey, it owned Greece, right? And so you have 900 years of imperial history for the Romans and 1,200 years of imperial history for the Persians. There's 21 centuries between those two empires. And they're also technologically the most advanced civilizations on earth. And they had massive populations compared to the Arabs. They're down because of malaria, but the Arabs don't have any rivers. They don't have the agricultural capacity to support large populations. The Arabs are outnumbered, they're out-technologied, they're out-moneyed, they're out-experienced, they're out-equipped. And Khalid, in 1 year, has captured Iraq. Our military was there for 8 years. We didn't capture anything. We captured IEDs in the face. So the Persians go to the Romans, they're like, okay, we're going to fight this one as allies, right? And the Romans are like, yes, yeah, we're good. Because in the meantime, an Arab army has attacked from this side and is trying to get to Jerusalem. And so the Romans know that the Arabs, you're outnumbered, you're out-technology, you're out-moneyed, and you're facing two empires. Do you attack both at the same time? That makes no sense, but it's exactly what the Arabs did. They attacked the two oldest, most powerful empires at the same time, even though they were outnumbered by one, let alone both. And so the Romans are like, yeah, we'll work with you. So at Firaz, the combined Roman and Persian armies, which by the way was largely made up of Christian Arabs, not completely, but there was a huge contingent, probably about 50,000 Christian Arabs. The combined Persian and Roman army was 150,000 men against 15,000 Muslim Arabs. So Khalid arrives. Khalid is on the east bank of the Euphrates. The Persians and the Romans are on the west bank. There's a ford and a bridge, which is convenient if you're moving an army. It's nice. And so Khalid needs the Persians and the Romans to cross the river to fight. So he very politely backs his army up from the bridge and the ford and split it into 3 5,000-man units. He liked that. And he put one upriver, one downriver, and then pulled the other one away from the river. And he just waited. So the Persians and the Romans start to cross the bridge and they're also crossing the ford at the same time. And he waits and he waits and he waits. And then he does a prayer as he's waiting. And he says, God, if you give me this victory, I will go to Mecca and I will do the Hajj. I know I'm going to die. I know there's no way we're going to defeat 150,000 men today. But that's what I will do. I'll run and I'll do the Hajj. And And I'm actually happy that I get to die as a warrior here today. When 50,000 Persians and Romans had crossed the Euphrates, he blew a horn. The men that were up and down river attacked them by going along the riverbank and tried to then merge at the bridge and the ford so that they would cut the guys who had crossed off from the guys on the other side. Then what Khalid did was he took the 5,000 men who against 50,000 and he has them charge into him. And he had his men as thin as possible. And then he backs his men up. And then he charges again. And then he backs his men up. And he charges again. And every time his horses go in to those men, it compressed them a little bit. It compressed them a little bit more. So after a while, the Persians and the Romans are so compressed they can't move their arms, they can't swing their weapons. He's just compacted them together. And they realize what he's done to them. And they panic. And they turn around to run back to the river to cross it. 50,000 men turning all at once to stampede. You could hear the bones breaking. And then the Muslim Arabs just went in and started killing them as they're running. By the time the battle was done, 200 Muslim Arabs were dead. 50,000 Persians and Romans were dead. What is this?